to another video in the channel. We're doing another video of Arsenal news, but today we're talking transfer talk, and we have got a lot of breaking news today, including Ramsey return could be very near, as Andrea Pirlo suggested. Manuel Solomon deals and talks are confirmed. David Alaba, could he be coming to the Emirates? Dominic Calvert-Lewin, are the stories true or not? And finally, Mikel Arteta has reportedly been offered a new Arsenal contract. So the first bit of news is on Ramsey. Now, a lot of reports going round and round and round that Mikel Arteta wants to bring Ramsey back to the Emirates after being out for, is it 1 or 2 years now? 3 years now? How long has been out? I don't even know. But what happened was Unai Emery didn't want to give him a new contract, so what happened was he left on a free deal. I initially, when he went into the last year, I was upset that he left because I wanted Ramsey to stay at the club. I thought he could be a good part of that midfield that we have at the moment, and I was sad to see him go. I was one for giving him a new contract, giving him the 200 grand a week, because if we could get someone like Ozil out, maybe then that frees up the spaces for Ramsey. But for some reason, Unai Emery didn't want to give him that new contract, and we let him go to Juventus on a free deal, and I think that really disappointed me because I really like Ramsey. I used to really like him. But looking into it now, the situation is about now, and reports are suggesting that Arteta wants to bring Ramsey back to the club. It would be an emotional, attaching return. All of those emotions would be up there. It would be brilliant for PR, which is basically what this club is now. But looking at it realistically from a footballing side, has he got it now to perform for us, in that box-to-box role next to Thomas Partey? Could he do it for us? It could work, but for me, personally, I think that ship has sailed. I think it's just, there's no point in going back to previously what was a Wenger player initially. There's no point going back to it. And everyone that's protecting Arteta is like, oh, it's the Wenger players are the problem. Even I say it. So why are you bringing back Ramsey then? He was a Wenger player, if you don't remember. But I don't want Ramsey back to the club. I think that ship has sailed. I wish the guy all the best. He was, a loyal servant to Arsenal for so long, and he left on a free deal. He wanted to stay at Arsenal. Man wanted to stay, but Unai Emery didn't want to give him a new deal, and he eventually left on a freebie. So it's not really his fault, but again, I think he'd be open to a return. Andrea Pirlo spoke. Obviously now he's at Juventus, and he said that he could he could play a few games before he returns to Arsenal. That was very cryptical. I'm not sure what he meant 100% by that. Maybe it was lost in translation. I'm not too sure, but could he return to Arsenal? I could see it happening. I'll be honest with you. I can see Arteta bringing him back, but how much would it cost? Because he's on extraordinary wages over there at Juventus. So he's on like, what, 200, 300 grand a week? Nah, that's too much wages for me. And transfer fee, if we bring him in on free transfer, if they're going to terminate his deal, then maybe, I don't know, but I just don't want him back, to be honest. That ship has sailed for me. And I think as a football club, we just need to move on now. And, for those kind of wages, including a transfer fee, which would be, excess 10-20 million. So put that together with the wages, a 2-year contract, then that's a lot of money we're talking. And I think that could go elsewhere to use Bissouma, because that's someone who could play in that kind of mold going forward, box to box next to Thomas Partey, someone that we need. I could see why Arteta would look at Ramsey to partner next to Partey, but for me, no. I would rather go for someone like Bissouma, which we have been linked with in the January transfer window. But we'll just have to see what we do in the summer window. But for me, Ramsey is not the solution, because he never was previously. He was never one that was going to get a league title. That's what we're trying to aim for. That's where our supposed process is taking us. How is Ramsey supposed to be a part of that? I don't understand. But that is the news that Ramsey has been linked with the return to Arsenal. Next bit of news is on Manuel Solomon. Now, I did talk about him a few times in the January window, but he has been linked again, and talks have been confirmed. Chris Wheatley, .football.london, did put this one out there, and they suggested that Manuel Solomon has been speaking to Arsenal as well as other English clubs ahead of a move in the summer transfer window. Now, Manuel Solomon, he is a player I don't really want. I'll be honest with you. I think I've made my sort of opinion on this one now. I wasn't too sure in the January window because I hadn't heard much of him, but he's had 1 or 2 good games in the Champions League against Real Madrid, and he's had a few games in the Champions League against Real Madrid, and he's playing in a crap league, and he's not like he's doing a lot in that league. Yes, it is. So what's to say he's going to come in the Premier League with the physicality you know, I don't see it. And you know, the transfer fee we're talking about here would be around £30 million. £30 million, that is insane amount of money for someone who's performed really well in 2 games in the Champions League and is playing in a crap league. I don't understand. It's madness for me. I don't know how much. No, not 30 million for me. He looks like a £10 million footballer, to be honest, at most. I think I was considering it in January only because the future of Nicola Pepe was up in the air. I think now Pepe, you know, if Arteta can keep giving consistent games, maybe he could perform for us and even stay beyond the summer, because other reports are suggesting that we might look to sell Pepe in the summer, cash in and probably go after someone like Solomon. But again, what's to say Solomon is the answer? That's my issue. You know, I think any other player that you don't bring in that's not in the Premier League, it's always such a big risk, because are they going to be able to adapt in the Premier League? Are they going to be up to date with the physicality? All these things. And can Solomon cut it for me in the Premier League? I don't know. That's the simple answer. It's the simple, straightforward answer. But for me, £30 million isn't enough. 30 million quid, a few good games in the Champions League isn't enough for me to say, oh, let's go and spend the £30 million on someone that isn't that good. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Manuel Solomon, and leave your thoughts in the comment section down below about him. But that news is that we have been in talks with him, as well as other English clubs with him as well. Next bit of news is on David Alaba. Now again, he has been linked with a lot of English clubs, and we have also been linked with David Alaba. I've been seeing a few reports go around. Now David Alaba, for me, a straight answer would be no. I don't want David Alaba, because he actually maybe, okay, look, I don't want him to come. If he were to come to Arsenal, I don't want him to come in and just start games as centre back or start games ahead of Tierney. I don't want him to do that. If he was someone who wanted to come in, play him as a rotational player who could fill in at maybe right back one day, maybe left back, maybe central midfield, maybe next to Thomas Partey, maybe here and there, just as a rotational player, like what Ainsley's doing at the moment, because it looks like Ainsley will leave. But David Alaba, the kind of contract wages we're talking about here is up to 400 grand. And that's what literally puts me off, because, you know, but I think other clubs like Man City will probably be able to pay it, because his agent will probably say to them, look, if it was in a normal transfer market, if it was like he had a few years on his deal, he'd be a 40-50 million pound footballer on top of 150-200 grand a week. You'd still get the same amount of money if you were to pay him 400 grand a week. So I think maybe teams like Man City, who do have a ton of money, would look at it and say, okay, let's go and do it. But for us, we're trying to balance out our wage book. We're getting 800 grand off the wage book, maybe over £1 million in the summer, and just to spend nearly half of it on just one player who's going to probably be used as a rotation, for me is not it. It's not the answer. And if we want to keep a rotational sort of player, just go for Ainsley. But again, it's the same situation as I said with Solomon. Will someone like Alaba, even though he's been doing well in the Bundesliga and he's been a world-class defender, yeah, will he be able to adapt in the Premier League? I don't think so. Will he be able to adapt physically? I don't know. It's the same question that goes for other, you know, defenders who are on a freebie. You know, players like Boateng, players like Varane, players like Sergio Ramos. Can they not? It's always so difficult, and it's always taking such a big risk when you bring these players in on such high wages. Even the likes of Willian, who we brought in from the Premier League, isn't performing. So every transfer is such a big risk. But for me, David Alaba, not for me. The wages for me are too absurd. The next bit of news is on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Now, some reports were saying we've been linked to, but my information is it's fake. Arsenal are not interested in the player, even though Arsenal are reportedly looking at a striker for the summer, especially with Lacazette's deal going down to 1 year, whether he will stay or not. Nketiah, Balogun, all futures are up in the air for Arsenal. You know, whether Arsenal will go in for a striker in the summer. I think we do. I'd go in for someone like Ivan Toney, but we'll have to see when we get to the summer who we linked with, what the prices are, etc. with this player situations. But for me, Calvert-Lewin, he'd be an amazing player. I'll definitely bring him to Arsenal. But first of all, does the player want to come here? Especially if he's under a world-class manager. Would you want to come here? You know, we're not a Champions League club, so why would you want to come here? The price tag as well. How much would Everton, be looking for him? In my opinion, it would have to be 60 million plus, because you look at some other players, how much they're going for. You'd be easily 60 million plus, especially for saying Solomon's 30. You know what I mean? And he's English, so there's more price tag on top of that. But for me, Calvert-Lewin, if we were linked to him, if there was genuine interest, then I would definitely bring him in. definitely 100%, but again, it's about how much the wages would be, how much would the transfer fee be, because you don't want to be overpaying, because sometimes for English players you do overpay. Prime example, Chelsea with Chilwell, Man United with Maguire. You don't want to be making these mistakes. And remember, Calvert-Lewin, he's just had one good season, you know. Before that he's been kind of crap, to be honest. But you know, we just have to see what the situation is, because under a good manager, Calvert-Lewin will play well. Will Arteta be that good manager that can guide him? Possibly not. So again, it's a nicky one for me. But if I had to say yes or no, if a decision between the two, I'd probably say yes, because he's better than any other any striker we have in form at the moment. So yeah, it's a tricky one. But leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you bring in Calvert-Lewin or not, and how much would you pay for him? Next bit of news, last bit of news, is on Mikel Arteta. Now, reports are going around that he has reportedly been offered an Arsenal extension contract. Now, yeah, if you're offering contracts after 7 good games and then you've drawn 1 and lost 2, got knocked out of the FA Cup, who's offering this contract? I'm confused. I want him sacked, not offered a new deal. God, when is this club going to stop bantering, man? Why are you offering him a new deal? Come on, you're just gonna put him on higher money on a longer term deal, and then what will happen is things will go sideways. You'll end up sacking him most likely, because he'll get so much pressure. Fans will probably end up getting back to the ground. He'll get slaughtered most likely, and you're probably gonna end up sacking him. So why are you giving him a new deal? I think, you know, if you're really gonna, then hold off a bit, because I don't think this manager's good enough. He frustrates the life out of me, and I would get rid of him 100. But you know, don't give him a new deal. It's just stupid. Whoever is giving this deal, I just don't even know what you're smoking. What's Edu smoking this time? Because I'm not too sure at the moment. And Arteta, you guys know what I think. I think he needs to go. He's out of his depth. But some people rate him. I don't. You know, he's tactically inept at times. He doesn't know what to do with substitutions. His team management, tactical management at times is very poor. But it can be good, but it's very inconsistent. And at the moment, you know, I'd wait maybe until the Europa League campaign, see where he's taking us, because you know, I think we can win it if he plays his cards right. But we need our players fit, and yeah, we'll just have to see where we are at the end of the season. But I would 100% not offer him a new deal. That's crazy. Why is he being offered a new deal? It just baffles the life out of me. But we'll just have to see what happens with that one, Mikel Arteta. But the news is saying that he has reportedly been offered a contract extension at Arsenal. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Would you offer Arteta a new deal? Would you have him sacked, or just nothing at the moment? So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.